Today I have with me Poini ma'am, Sign IIT Bombay. Now, what should we be telling students about entrepreneurship?
When it comes to entrepreneurship, there are two aspects. One is inner traits to become an entrepreneur, and another is kind of the journey, process, and element of entrepreneurship.
Students are the first question that they ask is, how will I fundraise? Where will I get the money? And
So you think about product first, you think about customer first, investment will follow, investor will follow.
are we overhyping entrepreneurship for students?
Where the next generation of entrepreneurs will come.
Several students want to become entrepreneurs. There is will which is there. There is a skill gap.
I think probably it's lack of a business case.
How do you test the inner traits?
The clarity about the product, clarity about the customer, or clarity about existing gap.
How do we skill up our youth?
I think fundamentally it has to be taught that you find a problem which has a solution. There is a customer who is willing to adopt it.
Very good startups don't go to incubators.
Even we had to work very hard to create awareness about the entrepreneurship.
Okay, so today I have with me a very interesting person, a role model for all those who are in the incubation ecosystem, the top voice, Poini ma'am from, Sign IIT Bombay CEO, right? She has retired from that role and now she's taken up a much, much bigger role, which is, mentoring the entire ecosystem, having built the ecosystem in the West in IIT Bombay and then, across the Western region. She goes across the country now with the Incubator Association of India, ISBA, with government bodies and several other initiatives where Poini ma'am is now mentoring the stakeholders in the startup ecosystem. Thank you very much, ma'am, for making
Thank you,
time for
Puran,
this.
for having me here. Yeah. And
So,
you spoke much more than what I deserve, but thanks for kind words as well. Yeah.
ma'am, we've had background discussion on this. Why we are building guests, the primary stakeholder, which is the student, and we've been going around to several campuses, talking to several students, and we've been very gung ho about students becoming entrepreneurs. Okay, am I wrong? Are we doing the right thing? Are we overhyping entrepreneurship for students? Let's start with that.
Yeah. No, I think so. You're not wrong when you go around and talk to student about entrepreneurship, where the next generation of entrepreneurs will come. Typically, student and academia, right? Especially, I'm talking about technology. That would also come from academia as well. So, absolutely, they are the very, very uh, serious stakeholder in entrepreneurship. So, you're not wrong in basically focusing on them when it comes to entrepreneurship. Of course, they are not the only wannabe entrepreneur. There are others also potentially who go out, work, and come back and become entrepreneurs. Uh, I, I, when you talk about, you said we are overhyping or over
Like, for
celebrating.
example,
Mm.
when I go to my class,
Hmm.
I say, who wants to become an entrepreneur?
Hmm.
When you go in the class, it's little bit, theatrical.
Hmm.
We're trying to perform in front of the class,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
We're trying to encourage them,
Right.
enthuse them, and
Yeah.
in that spirit,
Hmm.
maybe somewhere we are hyping entrepreneurship, glamorizing,
Hmm.
but can students actually become entrepreneurs?
Hmm.
We have seen some stories. Everyone doesn't become,
Hmm.
but when you see it from the top, right,
Hmm.
from the ecosystem lens,
Hmm.
every nook and corner,
Hmm.
several educational institutions,
Hmm.
you've seen several stories yourself
Hmm.
from IIT Bombay, from outside IIT Bombay as well.
Hmm.
Adersha was not a student in IIT
Right.
Bombay, right?
Right.
So let us, calibrate
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
Let us make a correction to this if we need to. But what should we be telling students about entrepreneurship?
So, see, the thing is, when it comes to entrepreneurship, there are two aspects. One is inner traits
Mm-hmm.
to become an entrepreneur, and another is kind of the journey, process, and element of entrepreneurship,
Okay.
right? Now, even if you teach entrepreneurship, many don't have that traits. What are those traits? Like, risk taking ability,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with uncertain environment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, taking, like, willingness to go for a very long haul.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the very, very critical aspects for entrepreneurship that you can't teach. That's a personal traits and characteristics. But the process of entrepreneurship, like, you need to have, like, co-founders or at least team member to get started with. What are the fundraising aspects, how to go and, like, reach out to the customers, GTM, all those stuff.
Right.
I think these are the processes, like, understanding about those process is very important for them. So this needs to be taught, and anyone can learn it. This is basically one has to develop on their own.
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's like, my thing is that, do all engineering students, so for example, a physics student
Mm-hmm.
always remain a physicist? No, they drift in their career path.
Right.
So will be the case for even, like, taking who are taking the courses of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them will become entrepreneur, but it's good to tell story. It's good to tell what it involves there. The hype is around is that everyone sees the success, but no one sees that it took 20 years to
Yeah.
look what it looks like an overnight success.
Right.
Yeah. So only good thing about the startup and all those things, I think one need not remain, stuck to it. Every aspect of entrepreneurship, as a matter of fact, you teach them. Case study, as a matter of fact, you teach them. Even I would say case studies of failed entrepreneurs are very, very important to
Hmm.
teach. So, as a matter of fact, it is important to teach them, not in a very glamorized manner or what you talk about,
Sure.
only sharing war stories and, like, everyone is going to win.
Hmm.
That's not going to be the case.
Okay. So yeah, failure is something which we do point to when we tell students, that anyone can become an entrepreneur. You
Hmm.
try it for yourself. You
Hmm.
can become an engineer,
Hmm.
a doctor, an
Hmm.
astronaut. You have those dreams, isn't
Right.
it?
Right.
And again, not everyone reaches the pinnacle of
Yeah.
their respective fields. Only a
Right.
few people do, and entrepreneurship is such as well, isn't it?
Right.
So failure is also in every field wherever you go. You want to do civil services, you want to get into an IIT,
Right.
there is more
So,
competition. So, but the failure stories, how do we bring them out is something that we've not figured. Especially in entrepreneurship, we are not celebrating failure, but we do go in the class and say, "Are you ready to fail?"
hmm.
Failure is equal to learning.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But interestingly, I was talking to Raj a couple of days back,
Hmm.
and he said, failure, we have to unpack it as well.
Hmm.
It's failure is not equal to learning.
Hmm.
Failure has a process.
Hmm.
There is an emotional element to it. You
Hmm.
have to give it time
Hmm.
to overcome it, and
Hmm.
only after that your cognitive side activates, and
Hmm.
only then you learn.
Hmm.
So when we say failure,
Hmm.
getting ready for it, or helping students
Hmm.
think that failure is equal to learning,
Hmm.
what is your understanding of it? How do you see this?
I mean, like, you also require entrepreneurs to come forward and say that this is why I failed
Hmm.
and I learned this thing. So that maturity level has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If we, uh, you give them time, maybe you capture the story after 2 year or 3 year
Mm-hmm.
when they are ready to tell about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it has to be told. I think you talk about this celebration of failure, right? Uh, there's this Selco Foundation you might have heard about. Harish Hande runs it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bangalore based. They have annual conference where they celebrate failures,
Okay.
because failure is across, like, failure of innovation, failure of, like, productization,
Mm-hmm.
at every stage. Failure, you have a product ready, you also see that there is a proper product market fit out there, but you are not able to
Hmm.
take it to the market. So there is a failure on GTM side as well at a scale level. Everywhere failure is there. Important to say at what stage, why, like they have failed,
Hmm.
and then that becomes a very relatable story. It's not celebration kind of thing, but these are the cases need to be taught to
Yeah.
students, right?
Hmm.
Again, celebration is again glorifying the things, but as a matter of fact, it has to be taught to them. And from that failure, perhaps entrepreneurs' viewpoint, what they could have done or what they should have avoided,
Hmm.
that becomes a very, very valuable lessons for the wannabe
Hmm.
entrepreneurs.
So we do need to derive lessons from failure, but interesting to know about Selco. And yeah, we had conversations around graveyard analysis, looking at what happened to those. And although we say 90% of the startups fail, what happens to the entrepreneurs is something that we don't know.
Right.
Ventures may fail, but those 90% entrepreneurs, have they started again?
Hmm.
That process, has that yielded enough learning for them to, so in your experience,
Hmm.
when ventures have not worked out,
Hmm.
how have founders reacted?
Right. So before that, just like before I answer this question, why also failure stories have to be told? Because more and more you talk about failure, it becomes an normal
Hmm.
process.
Yeah.
Because failure, it's a stigma. There is a loss of confidence. Yeah. Also becomes kind of a negative role model. So these are the negative
Hmm.
aspects.
Hmm.
When you speak more and more about failure,
Yeah.
or entrepreneur talks about that, it's a normal process.
Right.
Okay, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't stopped here. And
Hmm.
that's where your next question comes, right?
Hmm.
So, like in olden days, 20 years back, it was a big stigma, taboo, and all, even social taboo, right? Parents didn't want it, entrepreneurs were scared, and all those stuff. I think we have come over that.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurs, I have seen entrepreneurs who have not made it very big, but they've become like, serial entrepreneur and succeeded in subsequent venture. I've seen entrepreneur who could not, who had wound up their business and become like even investors.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they could spot entrepreneur very well, investable
Right.
opportunities very well.
Right.
They've also got absorbed in the corporates and started working there. So I think like there are pathways. It's not that you get stuck in one place.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm. So failure has to be normalized.
it has to be
Um,
normalized.
on the contrasting to this, there's another, of course, in the last 10 years, we've moved a long way from where we were in the
Hmm.
ecosystem. Startup India, and from 2016 onwards,
Hmm.
several other government push has been amazing in terms of popularizing the startup ecosystem.
Sure.
One thing that has happened is the Shark Tank show, right?
Hmm.
And there are several others
Hmm.
regionally which is happening as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Such shows have created a lot of awareness at the household level
Hmm. Hmm.
about startup.
Hmm.
The word has become a household name,
Hmm.
but it has also glamorized fundraising.
Hmm.
And students, students are the first question that they ask is, um, how will I fundraise? Where
Hmm.
will I get the money? And I want to become an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
but I don't know how to get funding.
Yeah.
Where are you on this? Should they be
Yeah.
thinking about this?
So I think before Shark Tank, our own media had glamorized fundraising, valuation hype, and all those stuff, right? Uh, it has both side of the coin, right? Like it has created awareness and also kind of given some sense of security. Funding is available in
Hmm.
the country,
Hmm.
which was missing not very long ago.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think as a student or entrepreneur, one has to understand that more than fundraising, getting customer money is a very critical aspect.
Okay.
And that needs to be balanced out. Like, and that balancing basically, those kind of things are noises are coming even at correction is coming at investor level also.
Hmm.
They now focus on PNL and balance sheet rather than fundraising and valuation and
Hmm.
uh, other aspects to it. But yeah, like fundraising or stories around fundraising were needed. It need not be over glamorized. or it need not be glamorized at the cost of fundamentals of startup,
Right.
which is basically making money from the customer and
Yeah.
getting right product fit. So you think about product first, you think about customer first, investment will follow, investor will follow.
Okay. I'll give you a very simple case, ma'am. Yeah. Last night,
Hmm.
I was talking to Guess has an army of campus ambassadors. We have about 500 plus students
Hmm.
from across Indian universities who become campus ambassadors,
Hmm.
and they are actually doing this survey in their respective
Hmm.
institutions. And we are at 16,000 responses already.
Hmm.
One of the questions, I was doing a workshop on entrepreneurial mindset with them.
Hmm.
One of them said, "Sir, I have written 2 books
Hmm.
and I want to sell them.
Hmm.
I've sold 20 already.
Hmm.
I published, I sold, right?
Hmm.
Now I want to publish more,
Hmm.
but I need 2 lakh rupees."
Hmm.
Okay. Now, where do I get the money?
Hmm.
What do I tell them? Where will I get the money?
Uh,
For a student in, third year of BTech, for him,
huh.
2 lakh is a big amount now.
Yeah, to like, so thing is that I don't know, like publishing book is a venture that he is talking in that context or whatever it is. But I think getting 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, especially for startup
Hmm.
tech venture, there are several options. There are grant,
Hmm.
there are like EIR. Now, like there are also the state specific grant available. So to make prototype grant available, there is a entrepreneurship residency
Right.
there's a POC kind of grant available.
Hmm.
There's also translation research grant available.
Hmm.
So several grants available. Now particularly this case, I think if he is an entrepreneur, probably he has to figure out his way, innovative way to strike a deal with a publisher
Right.
or potential angel investor who is willing to invest in this kind of publication kind of
Hmm.
thing, or profit sharing or something like that,
Right.
and then raise the funding. But I think 2 lakhs is not I don't know the economic background, but he can
Sure.
actually even crowd fund it if that is the idea, if it is so compelling,
Right.
I see on several campuses student 10,000, 20,000, they easily crowdsource, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things, so he also has to figure out that
Right.
way. But ultimately, whether it is, if book, it's a book as a product, but ultimately whether it's book or any other product should be appealing to the
Hmm.
target audience.
Hmm.
So even this author has to understand who is its target audience
Hmm.
and has to run his manuscript, potentially to few target audience, whether it is a sellable book or not.
Right.
Content is very important out
Right.
there, right?
Right.
So that's how he has to go
So,
about it.
I brought up this question because dealing with students, if we are in the incubation center, you deal with much more mature questions.
Hmm.
All right. The entry barrier, and in Sign IIT Bombay, the entry barrier would be much higher.
Hmm.
When I came out of the incubation center, one of the reasons I took up Guess, I came out 400 startups in 8 years,
Hmm.
10% from the students of IIT Maldi.
Hmm.
And now I go to class and students are like, "Sir, we have an idea. I'm teaching entrepreneurship."
Hmm. Hmm.
And go to the incubator.
Hmm.
"Sir, you don't select us there."
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
is what they're saying.
Hmm.
So what do I tell them now?
Hmm.
So yes, I want to become an entrepreneur. Several students
Hmm.
want to become entrepreneurs. There is will which is there
Hmm.
because maybe
Hmm.
we have glamorized it.
Hmm.
Maybe
Hmm.
we are
Hmm.
encouraging them.
Hmm.
Maybe the prime minister is talking about it.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
There is will.
Hmm.
There is a skill gap.
Hmm.
Right? What is the right question? What are the basic rules, first
Hmm.
principles of entrepreneurship, the mindset? Now, should we see this as a challenge or an opportunity? Who will address this challenge? How do we skill up our youth?
Hmm.
There is a gap.
Hmm.
Everyone is not getting accepted in the incubator.
Hmm.
They think books, they think 2 lakh
Hmm.
rupees, they think big challenges.
Hmm.
How do we solve this skill gap?
So Puran, are they not getting accepted because of lack of the skill? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably it's lack of a business case.
Okay.
Yeah. What I mean is that the idea, does it have a potential customer who would pay?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the way to execute, maybe out there is a skill, but whether there is an appropriate understanding.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not there, then with a good idea, good product, it may be taught,
Mm.
right? But fundamentally, to become an entrepreneur, you require some products, solutions, services where there is a market which is solving a problem
Right.
and a customer is willing to pay.
Right.
I think that is a fundamental thing.
Mm.
So incubator will also look at those aspects first
Mhm. Yeah.
rather than just skill and I think for student, most incubators now realize that they come very raw
Mm.
when it comes to the skill, right? And along the way, they will basically get exposed to too many activity, ecosystem, training program, workshop that they will learn their skill.
Mhm.
But there is a fundamental aspect which is lacking that they don't have product solution service for which is addressing particular problem for which customer is existing and customer is willing to pay, then I think no incubator will accept them.
Okay.
So one has to understand. So just becoming an entrepreneur, I think fundamentally it has to be taught that you find a problem which is basically with which has a solution. That solution, like there's a customer
Hmm.
who is willing to adopt it and pay it,
So you said it needs to
pay
be
for it. Yeah.
it needs to be taught, which I'm interpreting as we can teach entrepreneurship. And earlier you said there are two sides to it. There are inner traits and there is a journey element to it
Right.
where you can learn a certain things. For example, you need co-founders. The process you can learn. The inner traits, we have
You
no
can.
control over it.
Yeah.
Do these traits change over time? Can we mold people into becoming better entrepreneurs?
I honestly I don't have definite answer with statistics, but I do believe that some of the traits evolve along with their
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Yeah, I do believe because, for example, there are students who who have taken up a job for security or initial, like pressure, whatever, economic pressure or family social pressure, but they don't fit in work environment,
Mm-hmm.
and then they try to become an entrepreneur and they have
Hmm.
succeeded in those cases also. So I do believe, but as I said that I don't have any statistical
Sure.
large statistical data that we can say, okay, we can model around this
Hmm.
theory.
Mm-hmm.
We can create a theory around these numbers, that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that traits could also evolve over a period of time based on experience. Uh, Not in the same, like number that we would have expected, but it's not a so static thing,
Hmm.
like yeah, I do
Sure.
believe.
But how do you, when you accept someone into an incubation,
Hmm.
right? You can test their understanding of the processes.
Hmm.
How do you test the inner traits? What signals do you look
No,
for?
I think you can do that. Actually, you can figure this out. So the way when they come, like the clarity about their product,
Hmm.
clarity about the customer, or clarity about existing gap.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they are wrong, maybe, like they eventually, many entrepreneur pivot,
Hmm.
but they've already done certain groundwork connected with them,
Mm-hmm.
with the customer and those things, right? That's one thing. Second thing is that in context with student, you see them that they are not on the fence. They have not opted for placement.
Mm-hmm.
They really want to work with them. They have taken certain academic projects. So these are the instances. They have
Okay.
taken certain academic project and they want to continue with that, or using those experiences they have to develop new product and so and so. I think you can figure this out, like
Okay.
that's how even investors are also betting their
Hmm.
money on entrepreneurs, right?
But their ability to deal with uncertainty,
Hmm.
being there for the long haul,
Hmm. Hmm.
taking up an academic project which can be short term,
Hmm.
is there a way to assess or you just have to take a bet?
I think so. There is a bad element, of course, but like for example, dealing with uncertainty is like when you have not, basically they have not seen those kind of things, but when you talk to them, their project, their career trajectory, the way they have teamed up with, collaborated with others, the way they have looked at the market and all those stuff. Their like sense about product development, sense about reaching the market. Like if someone say, "Oh, my product will be ready within a," it's a healthcare product, and then someone says that my product will be ready within 1 year or 15 months.
Hmm.
It's too off the mark,
Right, right.
right? So you can figure out, okay, they have not done, but they say they have a roadmap to that,
Right.
and they've processed that information internally.
Mhm.
Then 3 years, it could take 4 year or 5 year, they will be able to take that haul.
Hmm.
So I think some of the things that you can sense about it, not 100%, but by and large you can
Hmm.
sense about it.
Okay.
Just conversation and certain questions, conversation in certain direction
Hmm.
gives you a sense about the trait and personality of a
Hmm.
person.
Okay.
So for I'll tell you, for example, in sign, when a student entrepreneur or any young entrepreneur would come to sign sheerly for the purpose of accessing grant, yeah, like you would like figure out that they are coming only for money,
Hmm.
and if there is no money, how long they will go,
Right.
you don't know. So if the motivation of coming to incubator
Hmm.
is only accessing grant,
Yeah.
right, then you really don't get very thrilled about it. But if the motivation is even to access ecosystem of incubation, like experimental facility, accessing student for internship, accessing faculty member for advisory input or mentoring input,
Hmm.
or working with other entrepreneurs, so there is an experiential sharing out there, or developing my product to in the lab. These are the things. So the idea is not only you go to idea is basically, your sense you get is that this entrepreneur is not here only for the money, but actually they want to go through the entire process of startup.
Hmm.
Very serious about the startup.
Yeah, I have several questions around the incubation thing, but I'm holding off
Mhm.
because we are focusing on the students and
Sure.
how do we get them in.
Mm.
Um,
No, but that was what I was trying to say, is that that was one of the yardstick we would
Sure.
assess
Yeah.
a student,
Hmm.
that if money is not there, then what?
Hmm. No, that's right. I
Yeah.
keep telling them, if you,
Hmm.
go asking for, you call me and the first thing you say, sir, grant hai.
Yeah.
Then, you go asking for money, you get
Yeah,
advice.
it would switch me off actually.
Yeah, that's right. We are not funding agency.
Hmm.
It's great that we have money to disburse to startups,
Absolutely.
but that's not what we do.
Right.
I wanted to look at the incubation funnel,
Hmm.
some numbers. I was talking to Richa yesterday
Hmm.
from Campus
Hmm.
Fund, and she gave me some amazing numbers.
Hmm.
20,000 applicants so far,
Hmm.
and they funded 41 out of just last 5 years.
Right.
Can we get some numbers, for students to understand
Hmm.
what does it look like in terms of either competition or say the grit that you need to have? How many applications come into an incubation center like Sign year on year over the last 10 years? What has happened?
Right.
How many have made it through different processes,
Hmm.
saying idea validated or prototype built or fundraised or folded? What happened? Give us some
So,
idea.
I'll tell you, in science number, typically when I was in science, we would get about 1,000 to 1,500 application, and these are serious application because uh, it was very well known to like science position was that we would take in those days only product based companies,
Hmm.
IP based companies, some affiliation with IIT Bombay. Those were
This is
the
2013, 12,
this was pretty much initial 15, 16 years of
Okay.
science. And in those days, we would get about 1,000 plus application, and we would end up taking about 7, 8 in the incubator, or 10, I would say. Now, of course, Sign also has evolved and it's more open and taking
Yeah.
various profiles of the company. So those numbers have also gone very high.
Hmm.
But there was already one barrier on eligibility that we had created, and it would be around 1,000 plus application. we would end up taking 8-10.
Hmm.
And at an incubation level, it would be like, this was the number where we would ideally at an incubation level, you ought to be taking more risk.
Hmm.
Yeah. So even at that level, we were taking 10
So you're
like,
saying in the first 15 years. So science started in early 2000s,
early 2000.
and so until
So
2013, 14,
not
15.
every year 1000. What I would say, it's over a period it evolved in a
Sure.
manner, because in the initial day there was not much buzz around entrepreneurship. So
Right.
we would even we had to work very hard to uh, uh, create awareness about the entrepreneurship. So
But
in
all
those
these applications you're mentioning, they are from within IIT Bombay, right? Because you were
IIT Bombay,
close.
even outside, but who had willingness to affiliate with IIT Bombay,
Hmm.
yeah, or alum and those kind of thing.
Yeah, still IIT Bombay. But I heard, until 2013 or so,
Hmm.
sign was only for IIT Bombay
In
community.
fact, for a long time, that's what I was telling.
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
it was like, initial 15 years that there was a necessary requirement for affiliation with IIT Bombay. As a student or alum or tech IP or faculty involvement, some kind of, or IIT's partner, their
Right.
students coming, those kind of thing. Then of course we were more open, like, because we were managing too many programs of government, and it cannot be just be limited only to IIT Bombay.
Okay.
So that was the thing. But what I'm like towards, like, after 2015, 16, towards the end of last decade, typically we would get about 1,000 odd application, and we would end up taking 8-10
Hmm.
companies in the incubator. That was the number. Now there could be many reasons. There could be fundamentally, like, not good company proposals or ideas, or not serious. Even entrepreneur may not be serious. So those kind of thing. And we had our own selection process. We would get it validated by experts, and eventually, like, when experts approve, we would take up the companies. So I think number that Richa is telling, Richa is even funding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's she's putting money in the company,
Right.
pretty much tallies. And if you ask VC would also say the same thing, that when they get, like, 1000 application, and or maybe 100, they would
Hmm.
end up investing in one or two kind of thing. So these are the numbers. So that funnel, I think it is the same. Probably in student it is more, because students are still evolving. Lots of student applications are not really based on serious tech, or
Hmm.
not addressing serious problems. So they basically then fall through the crack, right? So those number at student level would be much higher.
Right. And after 2015 or so, have these numbers changed because you had to cater to several government schemes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so on?
significantly.
So
Like,
then,
right now, if you ask sign, it would be much more than 1,000.
hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay. I also wanted to, for the benefit of the students,
hmm.
draw a, grant map since they
Okay.
want money, and, uh, investors are saying there is so much money available
Hmm.
from government grants. One of the signals that we pick up is, have you already collected, 20 to 50 lakh rupees from these grants? If you have done that, at least you are a solid entrepreneur.
Not
So,
not really.
not really.
Because there are student entrepreneurs who go from grant to grant,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And once you go grant to grant, like, and not going for basically commercial money or VC money, there are two three signals out there. First thing is that, like, how much milestone you have achieved from the grant.
Hmm.
If you have not achieved significant milestone, you are not ready to take bigger money,
Hmm.
hence you are not going to VC money,
Right.
right? So that is one signal. Another signal is that you don't want to dilute your equity.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Third signal is that these grants are small grant,
Hmm.
and if you keep on taking initial 2 years or 3 years, just small money, how far you can go?
Right.
So your sense of urgency is also missing, which is very critical for. So these are the negative side of the, like in, and I've seen lots of startups, they float around grant and accelerator and free grant and free accelerator and those kind of things. They lose their larger focus, they lose their sense of urgency out there. And contrast them, there are entrepreneurs who have actually like diluted their ownership, which future investor may not have agreed to, but they wanted to act fast, launch product fast. So I think you require a balance of grant and VC money, like in context with the quantum milestone time.
Interesting. So we're saying money is available, but still there are dynamics, not necessarily that, if you have raised grant money, that should signal that the entrepreneur is good. That could also mean you're, surviving on grants only.
Right. So this is the other side of the coin. Yeah. So like those who have raised grant, who have developed the product, like so Sign has Adarsha was there, right?
Right.
Initial stage, like he raised lots of grants to develop the product, and he was also building a healthcare product which has a long gestation period and all those things. But then once he was in the market, he raised commercial money. Like so his focus was more on commercial money. So it requires that balance. Yeah.
For awareness purposes, I want to list the name of government departments or bodies which today have grants for student level entrepreneurs, right? So let's make a list.
Sure. Where do you want to start? Let me start like first player, government player in startup ecosystem when startup was not a buzzword. It was Department of Science and Technology.
Okay.
Yeah. They funded incubators. Based on incubators' feedback, they also started startup grants.
Right.
Yeah. So, and they have also like, like graded grants basically. So, pyramid, I would say. So, first was basically EIR, which is an entrepreneur who knows, and typically, like, it's a student entrepreneur is a focus out there.
Right.
They want to start, they have an idea, but certain things are missing. For example, they want to convert that idea into concrete business plan, business proposition, or they don't have a team. So, entrepreneur wants to basically meet with, is waiting to form a good team, or want to create a POC.
Right.
So, give them about 9 to 12 months or 15 months. So, EII, entrepreneur in
Entrepreneur in residence. This is
resident.
individual
Innovator.
innovator.
That's
And
the target.
they can they be students, or do they have to graduate before they can enter into this program?
So, yeah, they could be pursuing student, but it should be towards the end of
Towards
the
the end. Okay.
towards not first year student or
All right.
something like that.
So the very first, in a hierarchy of scheme, the very first is EIR, where
Yeah,
somebody who's close to
exactly,
graduating
exactly.
can, and single founder.
Yeah, it could be so. Like it could be even group of founder, but only single founder
Single
gets it.
person. You
So
get a-
like I've seen sincere entrepreneurs. How do they go about it? They take EIR. It could be like 30,000 per month or something like that.
Right.
But entire money they put it for the startup venture. So other
Okay.
yeah, like so it's not for his or her
themselves.
survival, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's one thing.
So this is a program where you get money for about 12 months, month on month, a fellowship kind of thing, and you can
Yeah.
put it into your venture.
Venture, or you can use it for your own sustenance also, right?
And this comes under the Nidhi program of
It
DST.
comes under so Nidhi is the whole basically hierarchy of grants, right? Second stage is your prototype grant, which is Prayas. Nidhi Prayas. And that is essentially for prototyping. And it was designed during a time where support for ecosystem and support for hardware startup was completely missing. So unless and until your physical product company or hardware startup, they require larger money. There's a long gestation period.
Yeah.
So and then VC money is not so easily available
Right.
until you reach certain milestone,
Correct.
right? Demonstrate certain things.
Mhm.
And that's a gap that Nidhi Prayas was aiming to fill in.
How much money
It's
can be filled?
in olden days it used to be about 10 lakhs. Now they are reconsidering and giving 20
20.
lakhs.
Okay. And again, this is for a startup team. Can they be student? Should they
It
be
has to be like it has to be for the startup team, not individual student now.
Okay.
And out there, I think creating a venture was necessary.
Hmm.
Uh, so this is Nidhi
Nidhi
Prayas.
Prayas.
And once you have a stable, like more than stable venture, once you have formed a venture
Mm-hmm.
and you have a business proposition, that's the time you go for seed fund
Hmm.
or seed grant, and that is Nidhi seed support.
Seed support system.
And this will not be a free grant. It would be a grant to be used either as a convertible
Okay. It's an
Inst-
investment essentially,
investment.
and you have to part with equity with
Yes.
incubators and
Yeah.
incubation center.
So either equity or convertible instrument or something like that. It
Mm.
could be any the range would be from 30 lakh to 2 crore.
For 2 CR is allowed now.
2 CR exceptionally, it was typically 1 CR.
Okay. So we
But
have
for incubate, the grant itself is so small. So on an average, incubator would put in about 50 lakhs or so.
so we have EIR, we have Prayas, and we have seed support system.
Yeah,
Is
that's
there
under Nidhi.
okay?
Yeah.
Is it an accelerator under Nidhi?
Nidhi Accelerator, but it's more of an acceleration program than like like grant support, direct grant support to
Right,
the
right, right.
entrepreneur. So you have incubation, you have accelerator. So Nidhi Accelerator was
Is
that.
there? And all of this is available through the incubation centers.
Yes. Under Prayas also they would give one time grant to set up the Prayas experimental facility.
Mhm.
So lab facility.
Mhm.
So electronics lab, mechanical lab, bio
Because it is
facility.
focused on hardware, so you
Hard,
need a
yeah,
practical
physical
space.
products. So like even like for example, uh, a chemical profile company or
Mhm.
chemistry profile company, there may not be hardware,
Mhm.
but there is a physical product out there.
Right.
They can also access it.
Okay. Right. So is that all the schemes under DST?
Mm. DST.
DST. Okay.
DST.
What is the next
Next is
department?
next department is METI.
METI.
METI has the same. I think DST Nidhi created template for everyone. So if you look at it, METI also has the similar hierarchy.
Mhm.
EIR, hardware support and seed support. EIR, prototype support and seed support.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that is
heard
under
a
type.
story
Huh.
where, I don't know, talking to Mr. Mittal or Dr. Suresh, there is a story around how did Nidhi programs came out after TBI. All of you were called to an
Yes,
island
we
in
were.
a room.
Yes, in a room we were not allowed to go. That was Nidhi, Mr. Mittal would have told you.
Yeah.
And some of us, about 10, 15 from incubator community,
Mhm.
and like 10 DST representative and some of their advisors.
Okay.
We were taken to a isolated place in a hotel which was on an island kind of thing, and there is nothing. You step out of the hotel and there is water, so you can't go anywhere. Yeah. Uh, there was no mainland out there. So 2 days we did only this brainstorming, and Internidhi came out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that became a template for most government grants. So now let's talk about METI.
METI. That's Ministry
METI.
of Electronics. Yeah.
So METI has tight scheme.
Tied.
Yeah. So this tight scheme is basically same hierarchy: EIR, prototype, and seed support.
Okay.
Yeah. Then they also have now Samriddhi accelerator,
Yeah.
those the Genesis for tier 2 and tier 3 town.
Mhm.
So they have the similar elements.
Right.
Yeah. Then third, talk about Startup India. Again based on the same tier structure
Mm-hmm.
like EIR and prototype and seed support.
Okay.
And amount also remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then there is another thing which is actually uh, domain specific. So
Okay.
BIRAC.
Right.
So BIRAC has like biometric. It has total 5 vertical, which is devices, diagnostics, drug delivery, industry biology, and I think clean biology or something like that.
Okay.
So there are 4 or 5 articles out there
Mm-hmm.
that can qualify.
Okay.
They also have so they don't have exactly EIR, but they have something called UVA support, which is for student,
Oh, it's
and they
special
get so
program.
student fellowship for like
Hmm.
yeah, under UVA grant or something, UVA fellowship or something like that. I'm not fully familiar, but that's there for
Okay.
specifically targeted towards student. But in biometric vertical, what happens is that the funding requirement is much larger. You can't develop a device like or create a
It's experimental
uh,
over the period of
yeah,
time.
exactly, multiple experiment and like drug delivery process and those kind of things. You can't have just in like 10 lakhs or something. You require much more.
Hmm.
So their BIG grant, yeah, Bioignition
BIG.
grant,
Yeah.
that is equivalent to Nidhi Prayas or like that,
Hmm.
but it's 50 lakhs that they
Okay.
give.
Yeah.
And I think this BIG was a game changer in this particular vertical, right?
Biodomain.
Yeah, because no one was funding. You talk about healthcare 15 years back. Who was looking at healthcare?
Right.
Now it's a much sought out
Hmm.
vertical for investors also.
Mm-hmm.
So that is being done by like
Hmm.
BIG. So
Okay.
it really triggered, you know, so much interest in this space and so many applications
Right.
and so many new ideas it generated.
Yeah.
So it has impacted the entire this particular ecosystem. So BIG is there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they used to have even like uh, uh, Birect Leap and Seed,
Okay.
which is 30 lakhs and 50 lakhs support. So Birect was in. Now they are basically reshaping entire their funding support and all those things. But these are the three elements.
Leap and Seed was a name of single scheme, or Leap is
So
different?
it was a funding support, equity seed support, but one was basically seed was 30 lakhs and leap was something more, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So it was a basically difference of
Sure.
amount.
Sure.
Amount.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is then you have IDEX.
IDEX. Yeah.
Yeah, IDEX grants are for uh, defense problems,
Mm-hmm.
and within IDEX. So the way IDEX works is that they get defense problem from 3 service forces:
Okay.
Army, Navy, Air Force.
Okay.
And based on this three problem, they open the challenge, and then applicants get selected and they get grant.
Hmm.
That is also significant. I think like now it's like 1 crore, 50 lakh, 1 crore kind of thing. I may be off the mark in number because this numbers also keeps you only mentioned that government is putting lots of money. So this number also is getting
Yeah.
basically change over a period of time.
Hmm.
But so IDEX is basically for defense. But within IDEX, there is a open segment also.
Okay.
So they also end up funding space tech and those kind of startups
I
also
see.
out there.
Okay.
So
And then the IDEX programs will be much more aggressive because army is involved.
yeah, and
Stakes are
it's a
high.
need of the hour
It
also
moves
right
very
now.
fast.
It um, so see most government programs like they have their like government processes and all those stuff.
Right.
So there's a delay. So it's a relative what is fast and what is late,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So in context with government processes, these grants are fast.
Hmm.
But in context with VC money, it is not fast enough.
I'll give you the contrast because very fresh in my memory from
Hmm.
recent conversation. Richard said 20,000 overall in 5 years. We funded 41. What
Hmm.
is the process? Process is you apply within 21 days. We would decide whether to invest or no.
No.
Okay.
Mm.
And on 21st or 22nd day, offer has to be tabled to the startup.
Right.
And within this time, 3 conversations have happened, validation has happened, investment vote has happened.
Right.
After 21st day, within 15 days, money will be in the bank account.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, talking about relative,
Yeah.
incubation
Exactly.
space can be really slow compared to this,
Right.
right?
It's slow, but like uh, again, we have to appreciate and understand is that within that bureaucratic process also they are trying to maximize the
Hmm.
effort
Hmm.
and pushing the money out. Uh, Also, they provide support at an early stage, so
Early
they are
stage.
really filling the
Hmm.
critical gap out there.
Hmm.
Second thing is that like they have a layered uh, review process. There's one filtration, then second review, and final review, depending on which
Hmm.
grant you go through.
Hmm.
So that's where I think some of the grants, basically the application to approval, it takes a while.
Very good startups don't go to incubators.
Because
What
they
do you
might,
think?
yeah. I don't think that's the thing. I would say startups who are able to raise early money, startup who has a shorter product time, they perhaps don't require incubator support,
Okay.
right? But very good startup like cancer therapy, it has come out of science,
Okay.
right?
So very good is subjective. We need to define it
Yeah.
better.
So I
Okay.
think startup which has a shorter like
Gestation period.
gestation period in terms of a product as well as revenue
Hmm.
cycle,
Hmm.
they need not go to
Hmm.
incubator. Startup who can raise big money from earlier, they need not go to incubator. But we have also seen startup who have raised money, they have come to
They come
us
to you.
because they require product development support. They want that ecosystem access
Right.
to like so.
Okay.
They will learn
So we were listing the incubation the funding programs, grant programs. We were at IDEX.
okay.
What's next?
Then startup in I mentioned
You
about
mentioned Startup India.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned DST,
We've done with the DST, MEPI,
METI,
Startup India, and IDEX.
BIREC also,
BIREC also. Yeah.
right?
BIREC also.
Okay. So these are the prominent grants. Now MSME also have certain support.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fully familiar of every
Mm-hmm.
aspect of MSME's grant support, but they also used to give support.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think they also give for lab, for incubator, and
they
some
give,
grant
yeah,
for the startups.
and then affiliation with MSME gives them different
Correct.
kind of advantage also,
Mm.
like
Mm.
MSME, that Aadhaar card or
Mm.
whatever they call it, Udyog Aadhaar.
Right.
So that gives them different kind of advantage also. So MSME is there. Then some of the support not directly from government grant, like for example, uh, uh, ministry. This oil PSUs.
Okay.
Yeah. So ministry didn't start their direct funding program, but every oil PSUs like ONGC, Indian Oil, and like all those that come under the same ministry,
Mm-hmm.
they were given a mandate to support startup.
Okay.
So ONGC has startup program, Oil India has a startup program,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think Scooter India or Engineer or something like that. Again, it's a PSU startup. But all that come under the same ministry, I think they have a startup program.
And they do it through the CSR program.
No, they are supposed to create their startup fund, not necessarily only CSR. So, oil ONGC had allocated certain startup funding
So
program,
investment fund.
investment fund.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Uh, Oil India IOC, OIC, Oil India Corporation,
Mm.
right? Or Indian Oil Corporation, IOC.
Mm.
So they have not only funding program, but they also validate that product. So adopt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those
So
kind.
they would
Indian
focus
Oil
on
IOCL.
they'll
Yeah.
focus on petroleum and
Right.
that area.
HPCL also has startup funding program.
Hmm.
So this ministry didn't directly invest, but they mandated their PSUs to create a startup program.
But these programs are not relayed through incubation centers. they contact probably for startups, but money is not being channeled.
No, they are not channelized through a startup.
Okay,
Sorry, incubator.
incubator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but many of them actually partner with
Hmm.
incubators, but because they require that
Hmm.
pipeline from
Hmm.
incubators.
Okay. Yeah.
And not only that, these are validated. Incubators have done due diligence, they have invested, so risk is also lower out there,
Hmm.
right? So
Right.
that's how they partner with
Okay. So
incubators.
oil PSUs.
Yeah.
What else comes to your mind?
Right. Now there are state government programs. So if you go, each state government have their own program. Gujarat has direct. Gujarat have massive support for student entrepreneur. iHub is doing something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm sure Himachal Pradesh has those
Yeah.
program. Maharashtra government has. You go to Tamil Nadu,
Hmm.
you go to Karnataka, they have
Hmm. Every state
startup.
has a startup mission now.
Exactly. Every state, I think there are 36 state
Missions. Okay.
startup missions out there.
Okay. There's also a lot of CSR money. Which
So now I was to come there. Then there was another thing that government did was that, like, and this was in like 2014, 13, 14. Uh, so again, the same thing what we were talking about, Nidhi, that we were taken out, and then
yeah.
there was a brainstorming, and entire Nidhi scheme came out. Similarly, there was one brainstorming with secretary of DST,
Okay.
and like all incubator managers were invited. We were about 30, 40
Mm-hmm.
incubator managers out there, and like they were seeking idea that go beyond grant program,
Hmm.
what government can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where CSR came in. So
I see.
some of us like gave input that how do you incentivize corporates to engage with startup.
Okay.
So now, like, CS, entrepreneurship and incubation is one of the permitted activity under
In the
CS.
CSR Act.
Yeah. So,
I see.
so
Yeah.
this is how like facilitation.
Hmm.
So at a direct funding level, at a capacity level, so incubator and lab support and all those things, it's a
Hmm.
capacity level.
Hmm.
Then startup, direct engagement with startup, which is various grants and all those stuff.
Yeah.
And third is that at a policy level.
Policy level. Wonderful. So these are, earlier I had conversations with Prasad Menon, Dr. Suresh as well. And I think one of the things as, being part of the incubation ecosystem we celebrate is how we have contributed.
Yeah.
I say we, very happy to include myself in
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Only last few years, but all of you, the stalwarts, you've been working for last 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and many uh, ecosystem leaders from early on. I haven't even met them.
Yeah, right.
Probably the science and technology entrepreneurship parks which were
Right.
started, right? I met Dr. Jagdale once,
Right.
and
Yeah.
remember some of those people. But the kind of policy advocacy that you all of you have been able to do and change, the CSR Act to include incubation as a
Right.
permissible activity and designing all these programs. I think that's a great contribution. And of course, I did say we are slow relatively, but I
Right.
think there is a much needed role which incubation centers are playing to bring out student startups or
Right.
other startups as well. And for investors, venture capitalists
Right.
who may have a very small acceptance rate, but the top of the funnel
Hmm.
is coming from the incubation centers,
Yeah.
right?
Quite a bit.
Okay. Um, there are other external people who are involved, which are called mentors. Today we have, and the role of mentors, of course, it's widely acknowledged to the extent that everyone wants to become a mentor. We have many people who declare that they are mentors. Please share with us what is your understanding of mentoring. What is your mentoring philosophy? How did you, structure that in sign, and what are some lessons?
So I think honestly for me mentor is someone who have gone through basically certain, experience, be it as an industry executive, be it as an entrepreneur, be it as a funder, be it as a regulatory expert or whatever. I think the time when we started, uh, mentoring was more of a giving back, devoid of any commercial expectation. Yeah, that was the concept. So for me, when I talk about mentor, it's more to give back. Uh, but you do require seriousness, and you do want to basically compensate for the effort and value addition that mentor has done. So we also encourage startup to formalize that.
Okay.
Uh, and this formalization could be in terms of either equity or monthly payout or annual payout or whatever it is, right? But of late, I see many professional consultant positioning themselves as mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually consultant and not mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, and nothing wrong because startup require that expertise, and you do require consulting.
Yeah.
But then there is a very clear expectation of some commercial
Engagement.
benefit,
Yeah. Commercial benefit.
right? Versus I really want to help.
Okay.
Yeah, uh, I think that's where the
Distinction.
certain line is. Mentor is someone who really want to help startup,
Hmm.
and he or she basically gain some advantage out of it, but primary purpose is to help startups. So like then you go beyond, even if I am getting certain benefits
Hmm.
and this is the purpose I am joining it, I go beyond my mandate
Right.
in helping a company. And it is more of voluntarily given by the startup,
Hmm.
like versus those mentor who would seek certain commercial
Hmm.
relation, then only I
They
will
would
serve.
start.
So they are more of a consultant and not mentor.
There are a couple of other words, ma'am.
Yeah.
Advisors and coaches. Do you
Yeah.
see any distinction? Is there a need to distinguish there?
I mean, like you can play with fancy thing. It's the intention that counts, right? Okay, what is the thing? Coaches is more of a like group coach or like executive coach or whatever. But clearly there is a commercial element out there.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's a reciprocal relations, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Mutually benefiting relations. Uh, Advisor, mentor, or something where I said "Ki they really want to help. I have learned certain thing or I have already reached certain level and I want to help the company. There could be like, some relation. And I always feel that there has to be some economic relationship between two because that's will sustain sincerity on both the side.
Hmm.
Because mentor is gaining something and like if I have equity, then I have to justify that equity, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And even company would say that I have given equity, I better leverage that relation.
Hmm.
So it has to be a justifiable this thing. So I definitely encourage that there has to be some commercial element out there,
Hmm.
so that none of you take each other for granted.
Right.
But the intent is very different.
Right.
Here I'm actually making my professional career out of being a mentor. I think then it's a purely consultant and
Consult.
commercial.
Understood. So it's intention that counts why you're doing
Yeah,
it. Even mentors end up having equity stake in these startups, but
yeah,
that matures over a period of time.
right.
How have you seen mentors become, more permanent contributors
Mm,
to startups? Regularly meeting
yeah.
and so on.
Yeah, so that's what those relations I've seen that they are becoming like
Mm.
more serious
Mhm.
and very long term. Consultant, the day like company doesn't have
Money
money
to
to
pay,
pay,
they have to.
the relationship stops.
So how do startups, find mentors in an incubation setting? do I bring in people who can be mentors, who express interest, or I identify people,
It,
have a
it goes
pool
both the ways. Both the ways.
organically when someone is starting
Yeah.
new?
So it's in like both inbound, outbound, both. You go in network, you find a good person, bring them.
Mhm,
There are people who come,
mhm,
you also engage with them for over a period of time, and same thing, if you are comfortable, then more and more you recommend them.
mhm.
Certain relation just goes off because intentions are very different.
So you draw the
Even
line.
your own entrepreneur can also become a mentor.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
See, you did say, there is a line which we've understood, purely commercial, primarily commercial interest versus primarily giving back, but
yeah.
also has a commercial element which, evolves.
Even.
But even when you have qualified, drawn the line, now you have mentors. How do you decide who will be an effective mentor? Is there a way to
I mean,
screen?
yeah, so it's a basically the during engagement period you have seen the value addition, the quality of engagement, the length of engagement, and you rely more and more on them, right? Like so we had like so in even mentoring is Puran, it's a like there's a short term mentoring which can also happen in group, what
Right.
you call coaching, right?
Okay.
So as an incubator, I undertake certain training program, workshops, and all those things where incubator pays, startup don't pay, and then they conduct like 1:10 or 1:30 kind of sessions. So that is one mentor. Another is need base,
Sure.
which is like I need support only to crack funding. So okay, I'll help you to get funding, and once this is done, that engagement gets over.
Right.
Or I need a support only up to product development. Once that tech thing is done, then engagement ends, right? So it's a need base. Uh, Third is ad hoc, which means like whenever I need and I need a sounding board, I come to you.
Okay.
But there's no serious engagement or formal engagement out there, right?
Got it.
So that is fourth is like over a period of cycle, strategic mentoring, like growth के लिए, certain milestone के लिए. So that is maybe longish 1 year, 2 year kind of thing. So it's a different kind of mentoring, one to many, one to one.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes like I've seen mentors who are only working with founders team
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
for evolving them
Yeah.
into next
Leaders.
phase. Yeah, the leaders kind of thing.
You mentioned, formalizing the mentoring. So, what is the right way of formalizing? I mean, is there documentation? Or do you have to orient the mentors? Then do
In
you
fact,
allocate to
we had a
startups?
mentor policy which again we made it public very early on, like so it must be there on science website.
Okay.
We would say that you engage with a mentor for certain period of time, mentor and mentee, without any
No intervention from
uh,
incubator?
intervention. Like we see how is engagement going and all those things, but we don't push. Yeah, you cannot have impose mentor. That would never work.
You don't impose, but do you set the meeting? Do you orchestrate it, or do you introduce them?
We introduce a couple of sometimes we like facilitate, sometimes they just take on their own, right? But so the policy would be like this, or the advice to both of them would be there, that like you support the sorry, you engage with each other for sometime 6 months or so, and see how the engagement is going. And if both of them find mutual worth in it, okay, I can really help, or okay, I can take this thing, that's the time you formalize. Now this formalization, we would say that for every year of engagement, keep aside maybe 0.5% to 1% equity or something like that. That 0.5%, 1% has evolved to 0.2, 0.5% to 0.5% or something like that.
Tested over a period of
Yeah, so it's a vested. Yeah. or maybe if you want to give basically success based, so like if mentor like from product launch to maybe 5 crore of revenue, if you can help me, then give certain percentage of
Hmm.
revenue share.
Mhm.
It could be that also. It could be quarterly or annual payout also.
Hmm.
And then you create one document listing out expectations, delivery, and then how will you compensate. That's how, like, mentor formalization happens.
Okay.
So it's there on science website also. Yeah.
What are the qualities of a good mentor from a startup standpoint? They're thinking, who's a good mentor for me? And everyone who is senior to them, they, with glittery eyes, they're looking at them and saying, this guy is going to help me.
Hmm.
But you have observed several people go through this process interpersonally at
Hmm.
an individual level. What are the characteristics of a mentor?
So, of course, the area for which that mentoring is sought for and whether mentor is able to deliver or not, that's of course one thing. But I think I would suggest, I would say the quality of good mentor who is willing to help start him beyond what is mandated for.
Okay.
Yeah, willingness to go beyond, work with the team, invest in the team, not necessarily in terms of like, money,
Hmm.
but effort, time, and you are available
Yeah.
as and when. You are not basically, you know, clocking every hours or counting every hours.
Mhm.
Okay, I was supposed to give you only this much time and now
Right.
my time is over, I'm not available. These are some of the quality, and you can see also the impact of his or her input,
Mhm.
how basically is helping the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Your message for the students. One message that you want to give to students.
Yeah, so I think one message for the student, if they are really wanting to start, it's not because of availability of fund or valuation or like hype. Start something where you have spotted certain serious gap and working on fundamental problem using some good tech or fundamental tech, and you want to solve customers you know problem out there. Look at those aspects rather than like all those other distracting aspect. Because grant is available, I'll go. Because valuation is very high, I'll go. Because my colleague has made very big, I want to go for startup. Don't go for that.
One message for the universities.
Support entrepreneurship program for the sake of entrepreneurship, not again like it gives me an IRF ranking, but I really want to bring the talent which is entrepreneurial talent. They may become entrepreneur or not, but wherever they will go, they will basically have an entrepreneurial culture. So that's the thing, and have a fundamental clarity that entrepreneurship is not, it's different from academics and research.
Yeah.
So it has to have its own space in terms of financial and operational autonomy.
One message for the incubation community.
Do impact, meaningful impact.
One message for the ISPA leadership team.
Same thing. Do impact for your member in a meaningful manner.
Right. What has been your experience in this conversation? What is a message for the GUESS project? There is a team out there, about 15, 20 students powering all of this.
Mm.
And there are 500 plus students who are ambassadors.
Mhm.
There are 25 plus faculty fellows with guests, and there's several other invisible players which are catalyzing all of this. What is your message to the guests initiative?
I think guess initiative one is that because they are focusing in this young community, and it's that's where the next future entrepreneurship will come from, right? Bring out as many stories as possible, which are relatable story. not funding story, not unicorn story, impact story. So you can also have small startup but doing phenomenal impact. Yeah, bring out as many as different story which are relatable story, because everyone is not going to make it or make a unicorn. Everyone is not going to raise fund, but people can have good entrepreneurs can have good business, impactful business. Yeah. So those kind of stories that is needed.
Great. All right, that brings me to the end of this conversation. Um, Not end, just the beginning. Today, for the very first time, after 10 long years of me being in the ecosystem and you've been there forever, I got an opportunity to extensively question you, ask you, and I did ask some bold questions. I believe, I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable,
Not at all.
or hopefully we didn't touch any sensitive nerves for the ecosystem. But I also hope that we've raised the right questions, we've discussed the right questions, especially with now at ISBA, we are trying to bring forth more resources and knowledge to help the incubation community. Conversations like these will bring more transparency, will bring, transfer of knowledge from the ecosystem leaders to the young incubation managers who earlier didn't have access. Now, of course, we are much more accessible with the information technology, with the digital space. But earlier it was so difficult
Yeah,
to,
right.
get through, because also we were, all of you were busy building your incubation centers. Now, some of you have moved out of the operations and you are more accessible.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Moini ma'am, for
Thank you
coming,
for having me.
making time for this interaction. Um, so, that is so I think this is one conversation which has been very close to my heart, because having spent invested time in the incubation center, I grappled with these questions. And I'm sure today there are new incubation centers who are asking these questions to me. And although I'm answering those questions, and also for the students who are asking these questions, I'm answering those, but I do need to validate with you whether I'm answering them right, or whether I'm missing certain aspects, certain angles, which I must bring into those conversations. So this is easily the playbook for startups, one, and this is a playbook for the incubation centers to understand how incubation centers should be philosophized, thought about, planned, strategized, and executed. So I hope through this conversation we bring a lot of light to the incubation and student entrepreneurship community and enthusiasts. And Guess India will continue to bring such dialogues, such conversations to benefit the ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really, really good to be here and conversing with you. You didn't make me uncomfortable at all. I thought there's nothing discomforting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. And my inhibitions in the beginning, I really was feeling blank. Hasn't happened. I have had 20 conversations. I'm still fumbling.
No,
But you did answer uh, in a longish manner, which gave me time to think. Thank you for doing that. But thank you so much, ma'am. I was waiting for this conversation for last couple of
Thank
months.
you. I hope you found the answers.
Absolutely. I think it helps me write those 3 chapters,
Cool.
which I have, but there are several things I will add to those.
Okay,
And yeah, many more such things to come. And hopefully, this becomes a resource for our incubation community to learn from.
perfect.